a lot of infighting here and politicking there. And on the surface, you'd say, boy, this one trying to get back in and the next one. But everything is not as it seems. I have a feeling that a lot of people would be very surprised. Let me put it this way. The same way Dorothy and the Tin Man and the Cowardly Lion and and the same way they were surprised when the curtain fall and they see who really was behind there. I think people will be shocked to find out what is really going on in this country behind the curtain of politics.
Everything except governance.
Huh?
Everything except for governance.
Man, don't do it. Don't do it. So that's why I'm calling this show today. We're off to see the wizard. Because things are not always as it seems. Welcome once again to the show, C. Allen.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's always a pleasure. I just hope one day we could have politicking as well as governance all at the same time. I don't know why we somehow seem to separate them one from the other.
Hmm. So I want to start by talking about what seems to be on the appearance as it relates to the Free National Movement, because they're the ones right now who are very much their public, their infighting has become very public. And the whole thing I'm trying to say here is that there's somebody behind the curtain, I believe, who is trying to orchestrate all of this confusion for a very specific reason. And just like the wizard, they pulling all kind of strings and doing all kind of things. And then when you find out who behind it, you're like, well, blow me down. So let's talk about that. But let's begin with and for the record, this show isn't just about the FNM, because you got all kind of things going on in all kind of different circles that things aren't as they appear. But we got to start with the FNM because clearly their issues have been very, very public as of late. So let's begin with where we see where the FNM vice chair claimed that he was attacked, and he made some very serious allegations as to who he thought was actually behind the attack. Let's start there. Let me see if I can pull that up. And here we go.
An alleged altercation breaking out just outside the Free National Movement headquarters on Thursday evening, and at the center of it all was FNM Vice Chairman Richard Johnson. He alleges that he was attacked by an unknown individual, and that reportedly happened while a council meeting which Johnson attended was underway.
I was talking to some people at the front of the entrance of the door, and I turned. When I turned, this guy out of nowhere, who I don't know, started to physically, attack me. And so at that time, I had to physically attack him back. I had to defend myself. And so persons who were there got in the way, to separate us. And he was able to escape and flee the scene.
Johnson is accusing the FNM's leaders of orchestrating the attack against him.
I strongly believe this comes from the leadership. This is not going to deter me. I'm going to continue to speak my mind, speak candidly and frankly. No intimidation is going to work. Michael Pintard needs to go. He's a failure and he's wrong for the FNM. That's what this is all about.
Adding insult to injury, Johnson says, is that party officials seemingly turned a blind eye to what unfolded last night.
A lot of persons didn't like the way I spoke about how the party is failing. And it relates to that by-election. And people are not taking responsibility of their failure and incompetency. I think that's what triggered off everything.
Now, this is not the first time Johnson has been at war with the FNM's leadership, namely party leader Michael Pintard and chairman Dr. Dwayne Sands. In October 2022, party executives made a unanimous decision to ban Johnson from attending council meetings, but Johnson fired back by seeking $500,000 in damages against Pintard and Sands for doing so. Now, last night's reported attack came days after Johnson minced no words in slamming the party's leadership after the FNM lost in the recently held by-election, and he made it clear that he wants to see former Prime Minister and party leader Dr. Hubert Minnis to return as FNM leader. Johnson says those comments could have ruffled some feathers.
I actually went back in the headquarters where they was having the meeting to explain what was happening to me. And, outright they told me, Cole, go to the police. This is not our concern. And they resumed the meeting and went back as if business was normal. One of our executive members of the party was just assaulted outside the headquarters, and there was no real concern by the people in that meeting last night.
Last night's incident also coming not long after there was uproar outside the FNM headquarters during another council meeting in October. That's when Garden Hills Constituency Association Chairman Zendel Morley aired out his frustrations with Sands, who he says is infringing on his authority. That happening shortly after FNM leader Pintard asserted that all is well within the FNM. But Johnson says that could not be further from the truth.
The leader of the FNM, Michael C. Pintard, is politically dishonest. And if the truth stands in front of him, he doesn't know it. He is delusional at best. He's an abysmal failure and a tragic mistake. He wants the public to believe that all is well in the FNM. That is a lie. Because if he is not getting his party together, the party went in the by-elections divided. They are disrespecting FNMs. They're ostracizing FNMs.
Meanwhile, Eyewitness News sought comments from party leader Pintard and Chairman Sands, who were unavailable up to news time.
Okay, so before I get C. Allen to dive in here, I want to play the clip with Sands, the chairman of the Free National Movement, dismissing those serious allegations that were made in the clip that you just saw. So here's that, and then we're going to bring C. Allen in for the conversation.
The leadership of the Free National Movement coming under fire after FNM Vice Chairman Richard Johnson accused party leaders of orchestrating an attack against him on November 30th. But FNM Chairman Dr. Dwayne Sands is refuting those claims.
We are also dismayed, and we find it regrettable that Mr. Johnson would make a baseless and false allegation that somehow whomever it was that attacked him was somehow an agent of one of us in leadership.
Sands is not taking those accusations lightly. He believes that at some point, Johnson must be held accountable.
These are scurrilous, baseless, reckless allegations, and they are false. And, whenever somebody makes a false allegation, they should be willing to retract such baseless allegations or to be held responsible for making them.
Tensions between Sands and Johnson go back to October 2022. That's when the FNM's leadership banned Johnson from attending council meetings. Johnson fired back by seeking some $500,000 in damages. But last week's episode with Johnson seemed to be the last straw for FNM supporters, namely former Deputy Prime Minister and Deputy Leader Desmond Bannister, who wrote a letter to Party Leader Michael Pintard urging him to call a national convention as soon as possible. Will the FNM do so? Sands remains tight-lipped.
Our Constitution calls for a convention to be held every 2 years in October. So the next scheduled convention should be held on or before October 2024.
Bannister also highlighting other issues such as the FNM's loss in the recent by-election, noting that a 34% turnout of supporters in the recent contest midway through government's term in office begs the party to seriously consider other perspectives. He also expressed concerns that the FNM doesn't appear to be standing in solidarity with sitting Member of Parliament Adrian Gibson as he faces trial for fraud charges. Could these concerns justify the need for a convention?
I believe that if you orchestrate chaos, then your orchestrated chaos will form the basis of an allegation, and I'll leave it at that.
All right. See, Alan, why are you laughing, man?
I love this kid. Well, Richard said something about being politically dishonest, right? Okay, let's come back to Bannister being politically dishonest. I would like to say for Richard Johnson, I would like to say he's been intellectually dishonest, but then you'd imply that intelligence is capable from him.
Oh, you ain't playing today. You.
So,
you come out the gate shooting. Wow. Okay.
See, I've listened to him, right? Let's go back from the night of the attack. This is what he said.
Mm-hmm.
He said, I was talking to a group of people, and my back was to the person, and they walked up towards me and began to attack me. Right? Now I want you, and the person was not an FNM, and the person that other voice he said the person was carrying a gun. Then when challenged, he said he was told by some others that he had a gun. And his story didn't change again from that again. But let's go back to what he said. His back was to the individual who attacked him. So this group of people did not see this person walking up to attack him, but somehow he may have or may not have seen the person. Then he turned around and respond. And then you'd have to naturally assume, he said the person was not an FNM. It's an FNM function. You would then actually have to assume that whatever's happening at that particular time, that they did not know that the person was not an FNM, and they did nothing to subdue, break up, or whatever it is. He said he turned around and attacked the person, causing the person to run off. So immediately after being attacked, he immediately said he went into the meeting, and according to those in the meeting and one of his utterances, he came in and immediately during the meeting accused the people sitting in the meeting of orchestrating an attack against him. Now, let's ask yourself, you just got out of an attack. You have no bruises, no nothing, no wrinkled shirt, no torn shirt, anything. But then you walk into a meeting and lay claim in the front of a group of executives that they paid somebody to attack you. How did he come to that conclusion within, let's give him 3 minutes, 180 seconds, 3 minutes from the time of the attack, him composing himself and going into the meeting, that he came to the conclusion that a person, an armed person, all of this happened before he got inside, came and attacked him, and it was orchestrated by the Free National Movement Committee. This is a person who, after this event, also went live on air, Jones Communications, Love 97, and says that when asked about the attack, his story varies again. And then he comes back and says, when they asked him about another person being attacked at the meeting, he said, no, that one deserved to get beat up. That one deserved to get attacked. He's disorderly, he's disrespectful, he's everything else. So here is a person that is duplicitous at best. He believes that a person who is disorderly or whatever he wants to call it deserves to be attacked. But at the same time, he's coming in less than 60 seconds, been able to ascertain all of this information and even determine that the person was not a member of the FNM, and they attacked him to go inside and accuse the person. This reminds me of Jussie, what's his name is, Smollett, that orchestrated an attack on himself for motivation, publicity, whatever it is that he so desires. If you even look at those videos, you see the second half of the Three Stooges, and that's Omar Archer and Richard Johnson. The only person missing is Hubert Minnis, because they have to think that this is a comedy for governance in the Bahamas. And you notice that they're the ones who are calling for Mr. Hubert Minnis' return. Considering a former prime minister with $60 million per year of consultants during his 4 1/3 term, and his advisors for other issues, would find two jokers to represent to the FNM and to the Bahamian people as being credible sources for his return to governance of the Bahamas, especially after 4 1/3 years of disastrous leadership.
So are you suggesting then that it's a possibility that in this scenario, the wizard behind the curtain is Hubert Minnis? Is that what you're suggesting?
I'm absolutely saying it. I'm saying that, yes, I'm saying that Hubert Minnis just doesn't have the courage to come out to the Bahamian people who sent him such a beating that he's somehow still suffering from fear, anger, whatever it is that you want to call it. And want to come back to the people. I personally don't believe that I believe that Mr. Minnis understand the message that the government that was sent to him by the government, taking 28 seats from him and sending him home packing, even though he had the advantage in the polls that he thought was in his favor to call an early election 9 months earlier than expected. He must have thought that he had the ability to govern, to had the mandate based on whatever polling he has. That message was done. I want you to imagine this though. A group of people having the confidence so much in Mr. Minnis that they sent a sitting prime minister home only to turn around and take that seat away from him. Take it away from him. That's message alone to Mr. Minnis that they lost confidence in you from 4 1/3 months, 4 years and 4 months earlier than they had in it. But Mr. Minnis is well aware concerning the position he put himself in as competent authority, dictator, to lock us down, take away our rights, lock up people for coconuts, lock up people for being 1 minute late, standing in lines at food stores, and et cetera, all on an issue that he MSU makes stuff up as he went along. And Bahamians have yet to forget that. And this is why I think Mr. Minnis is so delusional that he went to the garbage can and picked Omar Archer and Richard out to represent him. I mean, think about all of the people in the country that could speak for him. And even now, Mr. Bannister come out in his lackluster support. I don't know where part of the trees he would fit in, but he's
well, we can get to him after the break because you know I got his clips pulled up as well.
Yeah, because what happens though is that you've now even began to see, and you want to go back to the by-election that is referenced. You go back to that by-election and comparatively compare. I want the FNMs and Bahamians may not remember. A sitting prime minister held a seat, I think, for 40 years or 42 years or whatever amount of time in South Abaco, and not Abaco. A sitting prime minister, and since 1990 or 1988, whenever Mr. Ingram joined the FNM, that was an institutional FNMC. Hubert Alexander Minnis lost an institutional FNMC that was held by a sitting prime minister and leader of the FNM for 15 plus years. He lost it as government. Okay? So the question we have to ask ourselves, if we want to do apples to apples, there are certain seats what we call safe seats or institutionally belongs to one party or the next. That seat is the same as his seat, in Kalani, the same as St. Anne's, the same as Adrian Gibson's seat in Long Island. You don't lose those seats. Yet Minnis lost those seats. Added to that, the 28 seats of government. So these individuals who want to do a comparative analysis somehow suffer from short-term memory. They have long-term memory loss, but they only somehow want to create a narrative on short-term memory. If Dr. Minnis has a desire to lead the country again and to lead his party, he should have the testicular fortitude and find individuals around him that have both testicular fortitude and ovarian audacity to stand with him and make an argument to his party as well as to the Cuban people as to his unfinished agenda, and then have the competence to be able to explain to us what that agenda is that he left unfinished, because we are still having problems in understanding what is it exactly he started. I'm not hearing you.
Sorry about that. I was muted. When I was growing up, my uncles and my older cousins used to get together, and they used to play this card game called whist. And the idea of whist is that you try to win as many rounds as you can within the game to determine who won that particular game. As many hands, I don't know what you call it, hands or rounds or whatever, but you know, you win a hand, and then you stack that number, and then whoever gets the most wins within the game wins the game, right? The most what you call it. So now here's the thing. Here's what I learned from watching them. You don't never pull your trump card early. You hold on to that trump card until you see your opponents and play all their heavy cards. And when you know they're defenseless, then you drop that trump card on them. And ain't nothing they can do to stop you. Because they don't play their hand. You think that's what Miller's doing here?
No, well, no, yes, sir. He already played his trump card. I think Richard Johnson, Omar Archer, and Bannister is his trump cards.
Man, can't be.
Oh,
I will
they
give
his
them
jokers.
more credit than that.
Or you think they're his jokers?
You said it, I didn't. But they can't be the trump card. They can't be. I don't believe that.
In a bad hand, they may be his high cards. He was given a bad hand. Essentially, what happens is this. See, the problem is that we have this concept of leaders, right? The leader takes responsibility. Now, let me explain to you a good analogy, right? A leadership is not necessary in all circumstances to be the person to do things, right? Let's say a pilot is on a plane. The pilot is hired there for one particular reason, to be able to know the direction the plane is meant to go and to be able to make the determination should something happen. The plane nowadays flies on autopilot, GPS, the plane almost itself to take off and land almost automatically. The pilot is there in case something goes wrong, that he has the ability to correct the wrong. That is what failure of leadership is. Not his crew, not his whatever. He determines. The pilot is the senior person on that plane that makes the determination. The same thing with the conductor. He starts and stops whatever. The same thing with the bus driver or any part of a collective plane. The ultimate failure for 4 years and 4 months of the Free National Movement fell onto the shoulders of Hubert Alexander Minnis. We don't, and I hear people make this argument about collective responsibility. Yes, if you're playing the game and Jordan decides to throw the ball into the stands for the 1 point that he needs to win, yes, the team lost. But the leadership of that team must take responsibility for what has happened. That's why they fired the head coach. They don't fire the team; they fire the head coach. You're mute again.
Sorry about that. We have to take a break. The music is playing. We gotta go to a commercial break. So let's take that break, and then when we come back, we're gonna continue the show. We're off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz, because things aren't always as they appear in politics in the Bahamas. Who's really behind the curtain pulling the strings? We'll be back after these words from our sponsors. This is GPS.
Global Paradigm Shift will return after this.
Understanding your microbiome, also known as your gut ecosystem, can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Keeping your gut ecosystem healthy and balanced is essential. Ultimate Microbiome by Longevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic supplementation. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria that can help prevent harmful bacteria from taking over your gut. Increasing your gut's population of beneficial bacteria creates a more balanced gut microbiome, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, skin health, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. Ultimate Microbiome also promotes the production of postbiotics. Postbiotics are key to help regulate your gastrointestinal health. To enhance digestion, Digizyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Plus, we've added our proprietary I-26 Hyperimmune Egg Powder to aid in the elimination of disease-causing gut bacteria and help your body balance its immune response. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for a rim fix and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Tracklight, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires. Cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Glasses love.
To stay healthy, it's crucial to make sure you get the nutrition you need every day. But it's difficult to get all your recommended vitamins and minerals from food alone. Even in the United States, 94% of people are deficient in at least one nutrient. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 by Longevity is a simple, convenient, and affordable way to help your body get the essential nutrients it needs. It's an advanced plant-driven multivitamin mineral complex that contains certified organic whole foods, trace minerals, and antioxidants. BTT 2.0 supports your body's natural defense system with a proprietary blend of energy-boosting and body-loving nutrients, plus prebiotics, probiotics, amino acids, and enzymes that support digestion. With an unusually high ORAC score of 8,000, you get even more antioxidants to help combat free radicals that can cause damage to your cells. But to get the most benefit and value from any multivitamin, your body must be able to break down the nutrients so you can fully absorb them. Otherwise, they'll just pass through your system without doing any good. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 was specially formulated with synergizing cofactors to ensure you get maximum nutrient absorption. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 is the easiest way to give your body the balance and complete daily vitamin mineral supplement it needs for optimal support of your overall health. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
This portion of GPS is brought to you by Tiki Bikini Hut at Junkanoo Beach. Great food, cool tropical drinks, and family fun in the sun.
And welcome back to GPS, Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. Michelle Malcolm here with my guest, critical thinker and political analyst extraordinaire, C. Alan Johnson. We're talking today about we're off to see the wizard. And in this context of the show, we're questioning who's behind the curtain, pulling the strings, pretending to be an all-powerful wizard, when in reality, they just a weak little short. You know what? If you if you saw the original or one of the reruns of remakes of Wizard of Oz, you'd understand the reference to the show. Okay, so let's talk about how a person can become a part of the conversation. Let me throw that out first before we continue on with the conversation with C. Alan Johnson. The numbers to call 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272, and the WhatsApp line for messages and calls is 8010271. That's 8010271. We're streaming live on Facebook on the official Michelle Malcolm and Global 99.5 FM pages. Also coming to you live on rumble.com. That's rumble.com. Look for Global Paradigm Shift, all one word, no spaces in between. And you can find us on Cable Bahamas, channel 974. You can download the Global 99.5 FM app to your smart device and take us with you 24/7. Last but not least, you can tune in by way of radio. And I would like to say a huge welcome to all of you who have done so, whether it's from here in New Providence, Grand Bahama, throughout the country, or around the world. Welcome to GPS. So we're talking about political chess moves today. We're off to see the wizard. We're trying to figure out who behind that curtain, making all kind of noise, making you believe that they are the all-powerful wizard. Then when you pull back that curtain and you see really who behind it, you're like, well, doggone it. Well, I'll be doggone. So this this is what today's show is about. Now,
But Michelle, before
again,
we move,
we're not just going to talk about the F and M.
no, we can move to that. Before I
Yeah,
want to
go
get to
ahead.
balance, but before we move, right? Don't you think Minnis owes the Bahamian people an explanation as to why he cut his 5-year contract short? He said we were facing some headwinds.
Nobody
And
cares. At
yeah,
this point, nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody will hear
Minnis
nothing from him no more, at least in my opinion.
might be listening.
Well, you know,
See,
I'm pretty sure Mr.
I
Dr.
can tell
Millis.
you,
And let me tell you something. I don't
80%
have any
Bahamian.
problem with Dr. Millis as a human, as a person, you know. Dr. Millis is my former doctor. He's very good at that. I just think that when it came to him being prime minister, he got this little God complex going on.
Right. You know,
Where
Michelle,
he,
that's called Peter's Principle. Peter's
okay.
Principle says eventually we will all be promoted to the level of our incompetence. We see a mechanic and we say because he can fix cars, we should have him fix planes, and the plane goes down and crashes. And so that's what happens when you promote him into the airline industry. You have now promoted him to the level of his incompetence. And if I had daughters of the age to choose a gynecologist in the Bahamas, Minnis would be the person I send them to. But for governance,
He's good at that.
Right. I don't want to see him. I don't want to see him anymore. I don't want to see him. We gave him an opportunity. We gave him all power. Minnis could have made a decision to do anything he wanted as competent authority. I mean, he had the power of the Constitution that could override the Parliament and the court system, and he abused it rather than building. And yet today, those who support Minnis cannot make a cognitive argument as to why he should be returned as a prime minister to the country. If they would be able to make that argument, chances are the Bahamian people would make a lot of noise, and people within the FNM would say, "Hey, that makes sense." But
Well,
clearly,
I heard some rumors, you know, as to why he was forced to make that decision at the time he made it.
we told, but you and I told 18 months before he did. We said that we were facing financial headwinds. Our economy wasn't growing. We were borrowing to the max. We were at no economic growth, and we were unable to present to the international people any strategy to come out of it. So here it is that you have full attention, and I say $60 million worth of consultants surrounding you, and you couldn't draw up a paper to present to the international people what it is that was necessary for us to make the recovery.
Yeah, you did predict it within one day that he would ride that competent authority position all the way to the election. You did predict that. But apart from that, I've been hearing little rumors, little rumblings that apart from the financial aspect of what he was facing, he was also facing possible mutiny within the party, as we see happening now with Pintard.
Yep, absolutely. That same November, he was being forced to make a decision to have a convention. And that's one of the reasons why he pulled out early in September, so that he wouldn't have to make the decision to go to a convention and be removed as prime minister from within his party, as opposed to in things. So essentially, Minnis also took this thing to say, I'll let the people fire me and have you all remove me. You all remove me as leader of opposition. Now you're going to remove me as leader of the party. This is why Minnis actively campaigned against himself. Minnis ran a better digital campaign against the FNM than the PLP did in 2021.
Wow.
He did.
That's a serious statement, C. Allen.
Oh, yes, he did. Minnis campaign against the FNM goes back to 2012, when he was first named candidate, and he began a systematic decision to get rid of strong persons who were in the party who would succeed Hubert Alexander Ingram. And he ran. If you ask some people who were candidates in 2012 and pull them to the side, they will tell you. Subsequently, they found out that Minnis ran a digital campaign against them, and that's when the internet was at its infancy. That's when the PLP came with the Bridge to the Future, and they were using the digital campaign because that was part of that whole background. Then again, in 2017, Minnis also ran a campaign against FNMs. Okay, and the PLP happens to be so they've been sort of touched of it. People just wanted to get rid of Perry Gladstone Christie. It just augmented. It subdued with Minnis campaigners. Minnis didn't want a certain amount of people. I know very personally that Minnis ran a full digital campaign against Michael Pintard in Marco City. And how do I know? Marco City was a seat that was held by the leader of a party that I was chairman of. And we made preparation of that so we could understand the demographics and what is done. And if you go back and look at Michael Pintard win in Marco City in 2017 and his win again in 2021, there was a significant gap between him and all those opposing because of the strength of Marco City. So I observed that seat very keenly. Minnis decided of all the people that he wanted to get rid of, that he wouldn't nominate, that he would run campaigns against them should he win, that they would not be in the House. So if Minnis didn't run those digital campaigns, or someone under a strong supporter of Minnis who would have to be under his instructions, and that's my strong opinion, that they ran a campaign against the FNM so that he could get rid of individuals who he felt that he did not need should he win again. How do you suffer an enemy? Nothing more than something. You could have ambition, but treason from within, and then you have a person who wants to lead a party again. And I would challenge those Minnis talking heads and surrogate. Put some money on the table. Let me show you the truth.
Okay, I need you to, we're getting some kind of weird feedback from you, C. Allen. So I need you to see if headphones will make a difference. So we're not getting that strange feedback. So, one of the things that we know about Minnis is that he has been known to be a little on the petty side. So if you show loyalty, he will reward you for that loyalty. And if at any time you show that you are willing to stand up against him, then you're looking to get your proverbial throat cut. Now, one of the gentlemen who showed loyalty, and I dare say for good reason, because if Minnis was really serious, he would have sit this young man down for the foolishness that went down at BPL, but that's another show. But one of the people who was clearly very, very loyal to Minnis was, surprise, surprise, Desmond Bannister, who eventually became the Deputy Prime Minister to Minnis. Now, this is the same Desmond Bannister who was missing for the last couple of years, missing in action, who has all of a sudden resurfaced and is now challenging the current leader of the Free National Movement to go to convention. Here's what he had to say.
Former Deputy Prime Minister and former Deputy Leader of the Free National Movement, Desmond Bannister, urging party leader Michael Pintard to hold a national convention as soon as possible. In a letter penned by Bannister, emailed and copied to all party executives, Bannister took issue with a number of events, including the recent by-election, noting that a 34% turnout of supporters in the recent contest midway through the government's term in office begs the party to seriously consider other perspectives. Now, Bannister wrote, a violent attack on one of our members outside of the FNM headquarters on Thursday night threatens to undo decades of progress. He says the party has also always condemned political violence in our beloved Bahamas. No person, he says, least of all an executive of the party, should be subjected to politically inspired attacks on their person. Now, Bannister added that to delay calling a convention will diminish confidence in Pintard's leadership. He added that party members will question Pintard's confidence in remaining as party leader, as well as his ability to raise the requisite amount of funds that will be required to hold a convention and successfully contest a general election. Now, for the sake of clarity, Bannister added that he does not seek to pass judgment on Pintard's tenure in office. Rather, he says, to encourage robust, passionate, and peaceful debate on issues that are important to the future of the Free National Movement.
Okay, So, again, before I bring CLN back in to comment on this, I see where, let me just play one more clip, but before we go to the clip, I see where someone on that is in essence endorsing Desmond Bannister. It says here, Desmond Bannister would make a better PM than either Pintard or Minnis, in my opinion. That's Sandra Carey, who put that on Facebook. So before I bring you back in, say that again.
He's acting as PM now, private messenger for Minnis.
Who's acting as PM now?
Bannister, private messenger.
All right, you're being naughty. Okay, so Minnis, like I said, he values loyalty. Bannister showed himself to be loyal under Minnis's leadership in the last administration. And so we see now where Bannister has come out of hiding from whichever rock he was under. And now he is challenging the current leadership of the Free National Movement to go to convention, because I'm thinking that the thought is that Pintard and his crew would not be able to survive a run on leadership at convention. So Bannister comes out and he says, okay, you think you bad? Let me actually say that. I'm paraphrasing. You think you bad? Let's go to convention and see if you're going to survive that. And then we see where the FNM came out, their leadership, and said, I know where he just come from, but we really ain't concerned with what Bannister have to say. Check this out.
Well, switching gears to politics tonight, the Free National Movement leader is firing direct shots at his party colleague, Desmond Bannister, who reportedly called for a national convention while allegedly listing his concerns on the ongoing energy crisis in country. Our Chloe Stewart has the details from this brewing saga in this report tonight.
Free National Movement leader Michael Pintard blasting former FNM Deputy Prime Minister Desmond Bannister, who he says has not only spoken out of turn, but appears to be speaking on behalf of an individual who has been divisive within the party.
It is rather sad to watch somebody who we have all admired for so long to condescend to be the chief spokesperson for someone who's been a bad actor, who behave in a very aggressive way in an organization that is poised to be the next government.
But before the 2026 general election even rolls in, Bannister feels that the results of the recent by-election calls for the party to take stock and host a national convention. Pintard, unmoved by the suggestion, had this to say.
We expect that this will be a blip on the radar come 2026. We'll be successful in replacing this administration, but it is unhelpful. And if you have worked to build an organization, the last thing you want to do is be duplicitous in releasing a press release disguised as a letter, because you know it's unhelpful to the organization.
Now, Bannister's letter also reportedly listed his personal thoughts concerning the ongoing energy crisis in country. Pintard questions Bannister's timing and concern.
It's most disappointing that he did not direct his attention to a ministry that he had oversight for to comment on the energy crisis that we're facing in the country, inclusive of the absence of consistent electricity supply in Michael as well as Eleuthera. The government has to address that. And if Mr. Bannister is concerned about the development of the Bahamas and the condition of Bahamian people, he should have directed his attention to those issues.
And Pintard's word of advice for Bannister. Here he says Bannister should focus on his concern.
He might better serve the country by weighing in on a more consistent basis about the way forward as it relates to unregulated development or shanty towns.
FNM Chairman Dr. Dwayne Sands opting to remain tight-lipped on what some critics have said is chaos brewing within the party. However, he wants to make this one thing clear.
You know, many would love for us to focus on the distracting or side issues. I'm not. I'm more concerned about the challenges that people have, ordinary Bahamians have every day. Our emphasis right now is on dealing with the challenges that affect people, particularly in this challenging time. That I am done with my comments as it relates to Desmond Bannister. And you can infer from that what you wish. I have no comment whatsoever.
I
All
got
right,
excuse for
Sharon.
Desmond. I got an excuse for Desmond. For the last 2 years, he's been sitting in the dark because BPL had him there. He didn't know what was going on in our country. He didn't realize that we were facing energy crisis, food crisis, housing crisis, economic crisis, immigration crisis, all of the things that he, as Deputy Prime Minister, sat at the table, second in command, to take control of the aircraft should the pilot be incapable of doing so. In fact, he sat next to incapable and incompetent and that pilot, and he said nothing. In fact, Bannister sat in a party that I think for almost 5 years, didn't call a convention, and here it is that he's unfamiliar with his party's constitution. I'm not a member of the FNM, and I know their constitution calls for every 2 years. In certain circumstances, they get extended. Clearly, Mr. Bannister should know these things. He's a long-standing member of that political party, and so unless he's suffering from the same shock and awe that his former leader, is suffering from, then he's totally being disingenuous and duplicitous, a small and mild way of putting it. And so,
You know, people have short memory, so maybe my memory is short. How many conventions were held under Menace's leadership?
I think one.
Okay.
When they lost the election.
Okay. When they lost
after
which
he
election?
after he won against leading into the election against the Butler,
Christie.
Miss Butler and the rest of them. No.
Oh, Loretta, right?
Right. He didn't hold one. There was not a convention again until the FNM lost its election.
And how many years was that?
About 5 years. Essentially, the FNM constitution calls for a convention every 2 years, unlike the PLP that calls for every one.
So I'm supposing that he was able to use the pandemic as the excuse as to why he wasn't calling a convention?
Well, guess what? He won in 2017. He could have had one in 2019. But then again, I guess he could use the storm. It's a whole bunch of things he could use. But again, you're being disingenuous when you saw Mr. Bannister knows within cabinet why Mr. Minnis chose not to call a convention, because this is where his insecurity came in. This is where his dictatorial tendencies kicked in, because what the whole concept of cabinet having joint responsibility for the competent authority was disproven by the very action of what Mr. Minnis did. And if you see again, this is where we as Beeman have to also stop being wishy-washy in our opinion. We don't understand governance. You can't one day say they all responsible, and the next day say Minnis is responsible, or Perry Christie was responsible, and the team is responsible. And so if you're a PLP claiming that thing, then you have to actually hold Mr. Davis responsible for the 2 terms he served under Mr. Perry Glaston Christie as a cabinet minister. And so what we have to look at individuals concerning their ability now and their vision going forward as the person driving the bus or the person flying the plane. And so what we do, the problem we have, and I think Mr. Pintard said it best in a conversation to me and others, he says we don't need to look back because we're not going in that direction. And so the problem is that we often look back, and this is where we fail as a nation. We look back to judge people on their performance based on how well or how bad they do compared to somebody else. When success is how well you do based on your capability, on what you're capable of doing. Minnis was quite capable of doing a whole lot of things, and a lot of promises were made. If Minnis wants to, and those support Minnis, I say they should enter into the public domain and make an argument of an unfinished agenda. In fact, Mr. Hubert Alexander Minnis had 20-something cabinet ministers who all have access to the executive team of the FNM. They could all go in there and begin to remember this. Mr. Michael Pintard, not in singularity, makes the decision as to the direction the FNM goes. He influences that decision. But they all have access all of those ministers, all those former members of parliament and former senators have access to that executive committee to express their ideas, their vision, and their desires on the direction they want the party to go. Why would they then go into the public domain seeking to undermine an organization they're seeking to lead? How do you weaken the organization that you want to be strengthened for you to lead it into victory? So that's what you have to begin to question. Maybe their desire is not to take control of the FNM, but to actually weaken the FNM to make sure that Mr. Pintard may lessen the potential for Mr. Pintard to become prime minister as opposed to coming back. Because clearly, this is not how you come back. Omar Archer and Richard Johnson is not part of the intelligentsia that you want to represent you as a potential returning prime minister, as presenting a vision for what this country needs going forward into the third decade of the 21st century. They are not it. So discontent.
I want to read a comment from one of the Facebook viewers. It says, "We really ungrateful boy. Minister save a lot of folks with the lockdowns.
Provide the evidence. Minister starve a lot of people. More people probably died as a result of the lockdown. Stress, anxiety, more families broke up concerning it. We can't claim by anecdotal evidence because something happened or may have happened around the world. What evidence that ministers use to support any of his decisions under the COVID? Y'all forgetting that you're going to say ministers kept the people in the cooler rotting because of COVID, that he couldn't bury them? What happened to other people who did have funerals? You know, it's a whole lot. See, if you go back to ministers 4.5, no, I want to call it ministers era. Ministers had an era in the Bahamas, ERROR. The ministers era is over. Okay, it is over. So we're not looking backwards. We're not going that forward. Okay, see, you know, ministers make me almost want to. I am so afraid of ministers coming back. Right, I would look for Perry Christie to replace Brave Davis.
We got to take a break. I hear the music playing. Quintero, my only suggestion to you is that you watch the last 3 Wednesday shows, Tuesday and Wednesday shows that I did with regard to the pandemic. And then see if you still have the opinion that ministers saved lives by locking us down. I challenge you to do that. I did a series of shows the past couple of weeks. The first one called The Great Pretenders. And then this past week, we did a show, I think, on Tuesday and Wednesday. Watch those shows. And then let me know if you still have the same opinion. Okay, we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we're going to continue with the show today. We're off to see the wizard. Political chess games in the Bahamas. Stay with us. This is GPS.
Global Paradigm Shift will return after this.
Your body's immune system is under constant pressure from things like stress, lack of exercise, and toxins in the environment. It's crucial to be proactive and support your immune system with the nutrients it needs to function effectively. But it's often hard to get these nutrients from food alone. Introducing fast-acting Zinc Plus Immune Support by Youngevity. Unlike zinc-only supplements, Zinc Plus Immune Support builds on the proven power of zinc and adds complementary nutrients to give your immune system extra support. Vitamin D helps balance the effects of zinc, while our proprietary blend of natural fruit and root extracts provides the extra help your immune system needs to work against daily stressors. And we've included Youngevity's exclusive plant-derived minerals to give your body the minerals it needs, but can't get from food alone. And because Zinc Plus Immune Support is delivered in a great-tasting, sugar-free, berry-flavored lozenge, it encourages quicker absorption of all these nutrients into your body. Zinc Plus Immune Support. Zinc plus the extra support your body needs to promote a healthy immune system. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for rims, paints, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Tracklight, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires. Cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Less is love.
It's gotten harder and harder to get your daily requirement of vital nutrients from food alone. Without additional vitamin and nutrient support, your health and well-being can suffer drastically. That's why Z-Radical was specifically formulated. It combines a blend of antioxidant-rich vitamins, minerals, and botanicals with the protective powers of fucoidan to help fill the gaps from lack of nutrients in your foods. The core of Z-Radical is fucoidan, a naturally occurring polysaccharide that helps stimulate immune reaction, protecting you against inflammation and oxidative stress. We harvest this powerful mineral-rich nutrient from brown seaweed, harvested only from the world's most pristine ocean waters to ensure the purest quality. It's then extracted using cold process technology to ensure maximum levels of bioavailability. Then we add essential vitamins that help to protect your cardiovascular and nervous systems and are crucial for optimal immune and neurological function. Z-Radical also includes a proprietary blend of delicious antioxidant-rich fruits and berries. This great-tasting combination helps your body combat free radical imbalances that can contribute to a variety of degenerative conditions like arthritis and heart disease. Z-Radical. Experience the power of fucoidan with antioxidant-rich berries, 8 essential vitamins, and more to provide you with potent health benefits. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
And welcome back to GPS, Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. Michelle Malcolm here with my guest, critical thinker and political analyst, C. Alan Johnson. We're talking today about we're off to see the wizard. Who is really pulling the strings behind the curtain? And why are things not always as they seem? The telephone numbers to call are 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272, and the WhatsApp line for messages and calls is 8010271. That's 8010271. We are streaming live on Facebook on the official Michelle Malcolm and Global 99.5 FM pages. Please like and share the show. Also coming to you live on Cable Bahamas, channel 974, and on the Global 99.5 FM app, which you can download to your smart device. Last but not least, we're coming to you by way of radio. And a huge welcome to all of you who are tuned in from Radio Land, whether it's here in Providence, throughout the family of islands, or around the world. A huge welcome to you all. And thank you so much for making GPS a part of your afternoon routine. We're off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz, until we find out who is behind that curtain, making you believe that they all of that. And then when you pull back the curtain, you realize that things were not as they seemed. Now, before we move on to another party, I want to play a clip from the Prime Minister, who was answering a question put to him by members of the media as to his thoughts with regard to this very public infighting that is happening now within the Free National Movement. And here's what he had to say with regard to that.
Writing a letter calling for a convention and questioning Pintard's leadership. Well, I don't get other people's business. But I'll just remind them of the admonition given to the House of Assembly yesterday by our chaplain, that the House divided could never stop. And I really think that means success if they're divided.
All right, that was the Prime Minister echoing the words of the House chaplain that a house divided cannot stand. Now, I want to read a comment written by Orinthia Komalafe, who was the leader of the DNA and is now returning to the has returned to the fold of the Free National Movement. And here she's done a series of what do you call it? A series of editorials on
Political analysis.
a series of opinions and op-eds, it's called, for Eyewitness News. And here's one of the things that she had to say. She did, I think, a series of 3 injections for that op-ed. She says, introspection and deep reflection is needed within the Free National Movement. She was talking about the defeat in the recent West Grand Bahama and Bimini constituency. Introspection and deep reflection is needed within the Free National Movement as an organization. This is not just a task for the elected officers and current leadership of the official opposition party. It is a call to conscience for the membership of the party to remember why they made the decision to support the FNM in the first place. While it is not unusual to have factions or differing loyalties to leaders, the ultimate loyalty must remain to the country first and then the party, lest the torch is extinguished on the altar of self-interest, selfish ambitions, and misplaced animosity. Some serious words, Cersei Allen. What are your thoughts?
I think it does have some validity, except it starts with self-examination. The problem is that those individuals that support Hubert Alexander Minnis don't want that type of advice from her, because then you would find out the reason why. If you examine the real reason why the FNM lost, it was because of the leader. And so for those individuals that love numbers, they only need to go back to the 2017 election results and the results right now concerning the win that he did and the message that was sent to the leadership of Hubert Minnis. You could go to for Baines and Grantstown, where they won with 50-60% of the votes. This time it was 2 times factor, 2.5 to 1 in Baines and Grantstown. And you go back to Bamboo Town, it's the same thing, 1.5 to 1. In spite of the people who did not turn out. In Centerville, they literally viciously snatched the seat back from a seat they'd given to the former leader. So when you go back to the entire 28 seats that was lost and examine the change in the people's attitude from one point to the other, you could very easily do it. You must also then, when you do that, you must also look at the policies, process, programs, and procedures that the people may have held content with. The numbers don't lie and the people don't. The problem is that those that felt Mr. Minnis, Dr. Minnis, should have been re-elected is angry at the wrong people. The FNM, if you consider that every person who came out to vote, the percentage, voted FNM. The question you have to ask is those who did not vote for you or those who voted against you. What is the question? That's a question that Dr. Minnis should be seeking to answer to strengthen his organization. At the same time, it is something that has to be examined by the Free National Movement on how do they reconcile those things that happen, as well as attract those majority of voters who did not participate, and as much as the 30 to 40,000 eligible voters who may not have even registered if you extrapolate that from who could have been added to the polls, to the voters roll, because we have this continuous voters roll going on. This is a data issue, but it's also a relationship issue. We have to look as a country and hope that this trend of disenfranchised voters who don't even want to participate in the electoral process does not continue. We could argue concerning COVID, we could argue concerning a whole list of different things. Even the by-election may not necessarily be a true put of what the potential is. But there's an opportunity for us to examine more so on the government's part, not in the advocacy for their governance, for the point that they would want to have a more informed, a more involved voter. We should be moving to digitize the voters' roll so we can actually find out in real time the people involved in it wanting to be re-registered and you will really find out that they're coming out to register as a potential. It's a lot of things that could be done, and government has that authority. But within the Free National Movement, they need to begin a person-to-person conversation across multiple platforms to be able to determine what is it. And I think they should engage FNMs. They should also engage the members of the now defunct DNA and Coalition of Independence. You know, both of those parties don't exist anymore. Or do they?
Okay. Okay. I want to read, Kentaro Kelly is making a couple of statements on Facebook with regard to why it was necessary for ministers to shut down the country in the manner that he did the lockdowns and saying what's happening all over the world. And nobody's disputing that, Kentaro. But yet, the same minister, in the midst of a wave of COVID, decided to call a general election. So if it was all about the science, that would have been the worst time for him to call an election, because we were smack in the middle of a wave of COVID happening when he decided to call the election for political purposes, to save his political hide. So it makes you question, if this was all about science, then how come it was okay at that time?
Saving lives, right?
You wasn't interested in saving lives then, except your own. But that's neither here nor there. Now, I want to read for you, C. Allen, before we move on to the Progressive Liberal Party. These messages came in via way of WhatsApp. And the messages say, "Good day, Miss Malcolm. Just how Richard is the mouthpiece for Minnis, C. Allen is the mouthpiece for Pintard. So he has no credibility to talk on this issue. He might as well just come out and say he is a Pintard FNM, two of them defending their leaders. If Richard is lying, he got attacked, and the FNM office got surveillance cameras. Send out the video, and all of this drama will stop, but the FNM got to hide. Evidence doesn't lie, so tell C. Allen he could be on every station campaigning for Pintard all day. If he get the backing of the people, why is he so scared to call a convention?" How do you respond?
Pintard got 80%, I think, the majority of the votes in his run for the people. What people are you talking about? The FNM has rules for their convention. They are abiding by those rules. Why is it that Dr. Minnis and others who support this so-called organizational rules and actually utilize it want some special rule for them? I mean, is this a carry-on from when he was prime minister, that you think he still has competent authority that he could dictate whatever? Yes, I do support Mr. Pintard's leadership. It's the most sense that has been made in almost 10 years. The Progressive Liberal Party, for which I was an advocate for, came out with a document called the Blueprint for Change. I invite all PLPs and those of you out there to read the document. It's a wonderful document, but it's been proven that this organization is incapable of achieving that. For those who've known my advocacy, I supported one time. I did not support you with Ingram, and then I supported him on another time. Given a choice, I make the best choice for the direction the country needs to go. Mr. Pintard, given the options on the table, including Dr. Minnis, including Mr. Lincoln Bean, and whoever else is out there in the arena, I'm making my choice, and I can intellectually and otherwise defend my position, not because I feel like I can tell you his positions on policies for which I've engaged him and listened to him. This is not a feel like for me. My credibility is not at risk. My loyalty is not to any political party. It was to God, country, family, and then everything else. This is good for country. The persons, their personalities, they come and go all the time. And so listen to my arguments over the last 20 years. It's always been for us to move into the 21st century. I expected that from this Davis administration. We're not getting it. And I'm hoping and depending on the only option that I see on the table to have it done. And the demands that Mr. Pintard has been making on the government to go through their blueprint for change, to bring about good governance of transparency, accountability, anti-corruption, integrity. Those are all of the issues that I've stand firm on for the last 25 years of being home. So how is it you saying? Is my support for Pintard doesn't align with my belief? I can tell you Mr. Richard Johnson and Omar Archer was viciously opposed to minutes, said that he was the most incompetent thing on earth when they supported Loretta Butler Turner. Until they were hired. Nobody had to hire me or put me in some special position for me to have position or loyalty to them. Okay? So then when they were placed in position by Minnis, they became his loyalists. I'm not for sale. I love my country. I love my family. I love my God.
All right. I want to go back to the commentary by Arinthia. One of the things she said as it relates to the Progressive Liberal Party is that the PLP would be underestimating the FNM to its own peril. It would be unwise and reckless to bet against the ability of the FNM to emerge from its current challenges to win the next general election. Prior elections have shown that when the full machinery of the FNM is activated, the party is able to rally its base, attract undecided voters, and win general elections convincingly. There's a reason why the FNM has governed for 19 years and the PLP for 12 years since the last administration led by the late Sir Lyndon Oscar Pinling. It is because the FNM is a viable option and formidable political force that knows how to win general elections.
In fact, the Progressive Liberal Party would tell you, those individuals in the war room or their strategists would tell you, this is the strongest the FNM has been in opposition since Hubert Alexander Ingram. Because their data and their statistics speaks to a demographics that's not seen. Don't mind the midgets with the megaphones. The PLP is a numbers people. They have the science behind it. They've spent millions in trying to understand their pathway of losing and their pathway to winning. The PLPs today would tell you that Mr. Michael Pintard as a leader is polling ahead of Mr. Davis. There's no doubt in that. This is why the PLP immediately put so much money. In fact, the PLP was in such a panic. See, what the PLP did not realize that Minnis was on their team in West Grand Bahama. And the Prime Minister was in such a panic. He came out and made $400 million worth of promises 2 days before the election. He promised them another school, an additional school in West Grand Bahama, an airport in West Grand Bahama, a Defense Force base in West Grand Bahama, a fire station, an extra clinic, a police station, okay, a dock, a Defense Force dock, a seawall, a regular dock, a dock for the fishermen, roads, housing, then go to Bimini. Why would a person who's so confident in their number show such a panicked action on his behalf to pledge $400 to $700 million in one constituency to deliver, because he knew what the message meant to his leadership that is occurring. Don't believe the PLP is without turmoil within it. In fact, you saw that the PLP turmoil when leading up way before Obadiah Wilsham passed away, when Mr. Fred Mitchell had to move in to put in some what they call firewalls to make sure to say we need 2 weeks advance notice. There'll be no nomination on the floor for leader of the party or chairman or deputy chairman. You have to pay a fee to make an application to run in the party. Putting reach of any position within the party only the regular poor people for who the party said reserved. All of those was protectionation of Mr. Davis. Mr. Davis is such fear that he has put 100% of all who he could allow, no, not 100%, 99% of who he could allow into his cabinet. Mr. Davis has 32 seats in the House of Assembly. He has 29 members, people who sit in cabinet. The only 3 people that don't sit in cabinet is the Speaker of the House, the Deputy Speaker, and the Ambassador, Ms. Bryce, because she can't sit because of a law that prohibits her from sitting in cabinet. Why do you you have absolutely no backbencher to put everybody on your payroll except to subdue any type of insurrection? And even then, there was a brewing insurrection, and you saw that in Lady Pinlin, Laura, and other individuals in the challenging of the chairman for his position, to the point that Mr. Davis had to come out and support somebody who's trying to take his seat. Mr. Fred Mitchell gave you all a hint at that when he said this might be his sworn dive. He already gave notice that he's running for Fox Hill again. Then why would he then say this chairmanship may be his last? Because should the opportunity for Mr. Davis be moved, Mr. Fred Mitchell intend to using the National General Council to make himself leader of the Progressive Liberal Party should Mr. Davis be removed. See, if you understand the political chess games, there's plenty convolution within the PLP, more so for the economy that's involving us. This is why Mr. Davis is running around the world with his Hail Mary called carbon credits, because he's lacking the ideas and the competence around him to execute the policies in the blueprint for change. It's totally incompetent. They're unable to. The green economy, blue economy, orange economy, carbon credits, the green, the world is sinking, the world is burning up. The economy, the expanding of our so-called tourism and hospitality, the digitization of the Bahamas. Go and read the blueprint for change and ask you, where is a single policy supported? Look at what he just came out with the energy policy. Absolutely nothing to back it, except we're going to go out and get some people to spend millions of dollars and lock the rate in that it can never go down, because once these people spend the millions of dollars on the solar system, if you even reduce consumption, you can't reduce the price of electricity because you have a lock-in contract for the price of electricity for which you bought into the solar system, and instead of having a real strategy for the reduction of electricity. Let me say this, Michelle. Everything that we are suffering in this country goes back to energy, for which Mr. Davis and Mr. Alford says misled Parliament 11 times in 8 minutes. 11 times in 8 minutes, for which Mr. Davis and Mr. Says should have done the honorable thing by the rules of cabinet and rules of parliament and resigned. This is why we're in this energy crisis. Everything we do, from the import of goods, transport, road, electricity, everything is impacted. When you talk about families that are suffering from energy insecurity, from housing insecurity, from all of these different things, it directly ties to energy. Solve the energy crisis and you will solve inflation, the impact of inflation, not inflation, but the impact of inflation, the impact of costs and goods, because all of those, no business in this country pays electricity, pays for water, pays for licensing fees. When he said no new taxes, but he goes up on other fees. No, the fishermen have to, when they went up from $50 to $700 to $1,000, they incorporate that into their price. And so the mismanagement of this economy, Mr. Davis, will come to be a reckoning for him when we go to 2026. This is also why the supporters of Minnis wants to be involved, because they figure that Mr. Philip Brave Davis is becoming Perry Gladstone Christie 3.0, a very low bar to go over. And so, yes, I take what Ms. Kamalafi said, okay? But the wave with Brave has brought us onto the reefs, okay? And nobody can argue anything of any real value the Progressive Liberal Party have. But if you watch the people, the movement in the back office of the party, you would see that Mr. Davis is holding on. And this is why he's put nothing but loyalists, competent or not, around him. $80 million worth of consultants per year. And we're still not getting any effect. In fact, he's becoming tying with Mr. Minnis in his governance. Plenty talk with absolutely nothing. The people are suffering. You remember what Miller said? Leslie Miller said he's never seen the level of poverty in this country. They went down to West End, and you have the Minister of Housing says this is the Minister of Housing. This is the PLP constituency for every time except for 12 years. Or is it, about 12 years under the PLP. I mean, under our governance, right? 50 years. And they went into West End. And these are people that have been to shanty towns. These are people been to the ghettos around New Providence, walk into West End, and the Deputy Prime Minister and the Minister of Energy and Housing, I think, looked up and said they'd never seen such level of poverty, such degradation in such community as West Grand Bahama and Bimini. This is their stronghold, okay? And what is being done? Absolutely nothing. See, the problem is we are at the price, and this is why I support Mr. Pintard. At this time, that's subject to change, should he change. I support him because I see a nation in the greatest crisis of our lives, and no solutions being put forward. People are trying to make us choose colors rather than leaders.
And you really believe that Michael Pintard is the man to take us to the next level?
I believe that he leads an organization that is the most prepared to replace Mr. Davis. And I believe if we, the people, get in today, get behind the most likely candidate to be prime minister today and shape the policy so he doesn't bring us his manifesto. It incorporates our wishes and our desires for the Bahamas we need. too many times we as Bahamians sit on our backsides waiting for somebody to save us. We want to win the lottery, we don't want to buy the ticket. We want wealth without work. And we must begin to become actively involved in the 21st century. We have globally, the world is fighting for technological supremacy, and we are still fighting with carbon paper. Carbon papers are still being sold around the Bahamas as small as we are. We can't give digital documents. What we need is leadership that understands the global environment for where we are, where there's fintech, where there's artificial intelligence, where education is primary. We need to take our rightful place in the world, and we need a collective of leadership to get us there. And I believe Mr. Pintard has the ability to bring about that team, because it's not about him. It's about one's ability to be able to define the future as part of a collective intelligence and lead us there. And I think I challenge anyone else to come and convince me otherwise. Don't tell me what you think and what you feel and you're waiting for some handout or something. Come and tell me, let's have a discussion and a debate. How do we build? I am willing to engage anyone on any subjects in the direction. But this is not something, let me say this. I sought first to understand. And for those of you, I'm seeking now to be understood.
We got to take a break. My people on Facebook calling you delusional, but we we have to take a break.
In the public square.
Well, when we come back, you said something just now about wanting to win the lottery without buying a ticket and wanting to have wealth without work. That sounds an awful lot like some of the things that are being discussed in other circles. We can talk about those other circles after the break. Stay with us. This is GPS.
Global Paradigm Shift will return after this.
At Lee Air, safety is our #1 priority. Flying since 1996, we offer scheduled flights into Fresh Creek and Mangrove Key Andros and Great Harbor Key, Berry Island, twice daily, 7 days a week. Affordable charter services are also available to anywhere in the Bahamas and the Caribbean. Lee Air Charter Services. Call 225-3267, 702-7127, or 322-1317 for reservations.
Understanding your microbiome, also known as your gut ecosystem, can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Keeping your gut ecosystem healthy and balanced is essential. Ultimate Microbiome by Longevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic supplementation. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria that can help prevent harmful bacteria from taking over your gut. Increasing your gut's population of beneficial bacteria creates a more balanced gut microbiome, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, skin health, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. Ultimate Microbiome also promotes the production of postbiotics. Postbiotics are key to help regulate your gastrointestinal health. To enhance digestion, Digizyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Plus, we've added our proprietary I-26 Hyperimmune Egg Powder to aid in the elimination of disease-causing gut bacteria and help your body balance its immune response. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
For all your building needs, it's Carib Construction and Project Management on Gladstone Road. We build it all. Schools, homes, hotels, and more, including structures requiring a Phase 3 electrical contractor. We also provide project management services. The first step towards your dream building begins at Carib Construction and Project Management. Call us at 376-1556 or 341-4466.
One of the things I love about the Mailboat is their relationship with Bahamas Air. I can earn travel points on my international freight and redeem them when I fly.
For me, online shopping is easy with Mailboat's U.S. addresses and regular freight delivery to Nassau. Plus, I can always prepay customs and freight, and they always notify me when my package arrives.
Yeah, a lot of people think the Mailboat is just for shipping, but they also offer a safe and secure storage facility at affordable rates, all in a central, convenient location.
We also offer passenger service into Freeport multiple times per week with a seating capacity of over 450 persons. With family movies on large screens, one hot meal included, and on-board lounge for snacks and soft drinks. We're the Mailboat. We're bridging people, products, and places.
Executive Printers is your one-stop shop for all your branding and customization needs. Letterheads, envelopes, business cards, invoices, share and gift certificates, rubber stamps, vouchers, funeral programs, brochures, flyers, banners, and promotional items like mugs, water bottles, mouse pads, and key rings, all with personable service and great quality. No project is too small or too large. For great turnaround and competitive pricing, make an executive decision. Call us at 393-5011.
And we are back. Welcome back to GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. Shock. I'm here with C. Alan Johnson. We're off to see the wizard, talking about political chess moves and who is hiding behind the curtain, pulling the strings, because things are not always what they seem. Now, before we move on from the Progressive Liberal Party, I want to read another comment that was made by Orinthia Komalafi in the editorials that she wrote. And it says, prior to the convention, the PLP-led administration prorogued the House and effectively wiped its legislative agenda clean. While some questioned the reasoning behind this move, many Bahamians understood that the government was on the ropes with controversies and challenges posed by the actions of its MPs. The reshuffling of the cabinet was enough evidence that the government was looking to reset for a fresh start to erase the memories of its turbulent 2 years in office. The reality is that the government pressed the reset button for the same reason that we all press the reset button on an electronic device. It was not working out as expected.
I agree with her. No, I 100% agree with her, because essentially, again, it goes back to Mr. Davis' position. Here it is that he had to remove a person that literally crashed the economy by virtue of a decision that he said Mr. Davis made, and that's Mr. Alfred says. You have Mr. Keith Bell that has been wholesalely been governing as his own cabinet, when cabinet is collectively makes the decision. And a host of other things. We're now finding out the Water Authority believed that it was his personal thing. He doesn't believe. And some of the very things that the government is claiming that the individual should go to jail for. And so, but we know of a lot of other things that's going. This isn't like a team failure. These are individual failures, because each of them are doing their own thing. I put to you that none of the ministers in this government knows what the other ministers are doing. They come together on Tuesdays and say, how's everything going? They said, I'm doing fine. How you doing? No, I'm doing fine. And then they dispatch, because there's no cohesiveness in the direction that we're going. You can't even look at any ministry and see any collective path that we're supposed to go. Mr. Davis is on a runaway train. In fact, Mr. Davis is so afraid of cabinet, he stays out of the country. And so it is what it is. They should be governing in a time of crisis. What he does, he grabs another flight. Mr. Davis has got more. He has Fred looking like Fred is like he locked at home. Flying Fred can't match Bungling Davis. Okay, I mean, all over the world, Mr. Davis comes in second in all of his statements. He talks about leading the world in climate change, but yet we don't have a single strategy to deal with the impact of climate change. Can you even tell us right now climate change he's bragging. He's saying, "Oh, we are all impacted by hurricanes, whatever." What is the plan for hurricane hitting New Providence? What is the strategy for that? Absolutely nothing. So he's like the dog crying what's sitting on the nail. Just get up off the damn nail and go find another spot. Mr. Davis should just simply look within his party and let somebody else who is better capable of leading do it, because he's going to lead his party to a devastation. I'm hoping if he continue like this, that the people take a real stance and ask Mr. Pintard to appoint opposition in the next term.
All right. I see a comment. I'm not sure who Matthew Thinker is referring to. It says MCT will be the next PM and will lead us for the time he is allowed to. The pivot needed. No miracles will be brought about in 5 years, but the paradigm shift will begin. Who's MCT? Do you have any ideas? Yeah.
I think he might be an MCP, Michael Pintard.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. So let's talk now about the third option. You want to call them the Coalition of Independence?
I've adopted. Yeah, it's MCP, Michael C. Pintard. So
okay. So the typo.
His name is Michael Clifton Pintard.
Okay. All right. So we got to talk about the Coalition of Independence.
Yeah, the former that old party.
What you mean, old party?
They died. They died.
What you mean they died? I see Lincoln did a live last night, and he say he's not going to stop. He's going to keep going. You could say he died.
Yeah. What happens was that was another marketing campaign. Mr. Bain and the Coalition of Independence knows their time has come and passed. And essentially, there's a lot of promises he made. I'll be waiting for him to leave West End, because he told us we have the clip of him saying that he moved to Grand Bahama. I guess he'll move away after that beating they give him. But essentially, his message has not expanded beyond do nothing and get everything. And everyone is beginning to realize doing verification that it's impossible. It's not that it cannot be done, but the minute if you do it the way he says, you just might as well just leave the Bahamas. I want people to argue. I mean, I've told people all the time, right? Let's use the carbon credits. If Lincoln Bain was serious, right? Lincoln Bain said he's going to give everybody $100,000, but he's going to give it to 200,000 of us. That's $20 billion. But him and his people are claiming that just from carbon credits alone, it's $150 billion. So I asked Mr. Bain, what are you going to do with the other $130 billion? Why not give everybody $275,000 each, or $400,000 of us, including the baby born last night? So we all just simply party. Because I want to know this, to consider the 240,000 potential workers and 180,000 of them at work. When you give them 100,000, remember 80% of them make under $30,000 a year. Which one of them is going to pump the gas tomorrow? Which one of them is going to go to the food store or to do anything that we do?
We could use illegal immigrants to do those things, yeah, and then be making all of
right. And now they'll be in a better position to have more babies and buy homes and do everything else, because we'll be busy partying down at Walmart and everything else based on what people say we do. This is why I say this is a disjointed, delusional concept that cannot be explained. Mr. Lincoln Bain, a story has changed from when he began to each time he hear a good idea, he adopts and adapts. He doesn't even incorporate the new idea. I mean, he doesn't just change from one idea to the next. He incorporated it, so it becomes even more delusional. Okay, so essentially, remember when he said, "I'll just give you $100,000." Then when those like myself and others says, "No, we have to pay you. You would build infrastructure." He says, "Good. Now I'll fix it so you don't have to pay for houses, you don't have to pay for light, you don't have to pay for cable, you don't have to pay for internet, you don't have to pay for anything. You'll have a world-class bus system, you don't have to pay for that. You'll have $100,000 just absolutely doing nothing." But, and of course, that's vision. That's how they say it. Like the Coalition of Independence. Okay, I used to call them, I consider them a club of ignorance. But I think I'm beginning to adopt the position that Mr. Fred Mitchell has given them as the Coalition of Idiots. And there's a difference between ignorance, stupidity, and idiocracy. An ignorant person, you speak to them and provide them the evidence, and they will actually say, "Thank you for informing me." Okay? A stupid person, if you tell them, let me use that again. You take an ignorant person and tell them, you put your hand in that hole, you lose your hand. The ignorant person said, thank you for telling me I don't want to lose a hand. The stupid person put one hand in the hole just to verify and lose a hand. So all of the stupid people in the world have one hand. The idiot is the one who put the other hand just to see if it was right. So all of the no-hand people. So I'm beginning to believe that not all coalition of independents are idiots. I, however, believe that all idiots are coalition of independents.
I hope you know that they coming for you.
Come. I don't run. Hey, they just say, unlike the guys that bring the smoke, I just run towards the fire.
Okay, so one of the things that that Lincoln touched on last evening, because I did watch the live, and one of the things that he said was that, people need to, I'm paraphrasing, that people need to support the movement. If you say you believe the movement, then, support it, financially, because you can't expect one person or a handful of people to sacrifice time with their families, sacrifice their businesses, sacrifice their lives on the altar of trying to make change when you're not willing to prop them up, buy into the concept of the change that you say you want to see. So his message shifted a little last night, because I got the impression prior to hearing that his party was being
folded.
His movement was being
folded.
Well supported.
Oh yeah, but that's the story. See, this is what I'm saying to you. If you listen to the subtleties in the shift of message, even when he began his live cast, there was kind of a thing saying, well, no one is involved, nobody's doing whatever. And then he almost part of it through he says, but I'm going to leave it up to you guys. And the 50 or whatever people who begin to say, you got to continue, is what he claimed is the majority of people who has been calling for the party to continue. The message in West Grand Bahama was a message to, we did not buy into the probability and possibility of what you say was possible, especially you as one person. No one in the Coalition of Independents beyond Mr. Lincoln Bain can explain anything. And Mr. Lincoln Bain says, I can't explain to you because they're going to teeth it. So if anything happens to Mr. Lincoln Bain, then we of a country is SOL. Shucks out of luck. Because no one else in his party, none of his defenders, none of his supporters can make an argument as to what it is that Lincoln Bain is saying is possible. They just like, well, the neighbor's doing it, and another guy over there is doing it, and another guy is doing it, and Hussein Bolt won under a certain amount of time, and the Golden Girls did it, so we all can do it. I don't know if that's aspirations or fantasy. There is no strategy and there's no argument that we have natural resources. And there's a simple solution expressed by myself, my wife Eden Marys, and a number of others. And it can be done today. A sovereign wealth fund. Not for what you call a sovereign wealth fund, but an actual sovereign wealth fund that moves all assets, known and unknown, seen and unseen, tangible and intangible, into a vault. Sea lanes, airspace, aragonite, salt, stromatolites, blue holes, fisheries, calcite, sand, whatever you want, 125 of them. No one has control of them. The garbage where Lincoln Bain and others preach, I've seen others came up also simply saying is, I win the lottery, $1 million, and I'm going to give it to somebody who's going to make sure I get 40% of it back. 80% of it back is garbage. That's not how a sovereign wealth fund works. A sovereign wealth fund hires a sovereign asset management company. In the same way, if I win $1 million, I would go to Kalina and give them my $1 million. Kalina don't say I'm going to give you back 80%. Kalina says, we will retain 10, 20, 15%, 3% of the profit we make utilizing your asset. It's already mine. So when you understand the way a sovereign wealth fund works, we could look at the one Mr. Davis gave us and know it's garbage. We could look at the one that Menace gives us and know that was garbage. We could look at the one Perry Christie gave us and know that was garbage juice or whatever it is. They're all garbage juice essentially because they are not addressing the issue. If Mr. Lincoln Bain understands what our natural resources are, he should expand beyond the 3 or 4 that he now professed to know, because he didn't know about carbon credits until this report came out. I want people to understand Google is not research. Google is information. Knowledge is the proper comprehension of information, and wisdom is the ability to properly execute your knowledge. And so all of you newfound experts, Google is not your friend. And Mr. Lincoln Bain, who is seeking to lead a country into a new era, global era of economics that's going on, needs to come to understand how things actually work and stop playing on the ignorance of his supporters, the very few that is left, and expand his conversation to be able to, in cause the intelligentsia, want to engage you. And in the same way that PLP and FNM get support, they will understand how your economic policy benefits them and, in fact, the people, and you won't have to beg. The opportunity is there, but not as a political party. You, as an individual, show your competence. I invite you, like I did on Michelle's show. You said after the election, well, I wasn't running. You ain't running nowhere except from your record. I ask you now, join me for debate on Michelle Malcolm's show so we could have a conversation on where we are and where we need to go. But Michelle,
I want to read a couple of comments from Facebook. This one is coming in from Richard Russell, who says, COI will win the next election. Don't listen to this garbage. C. Allen is talking PLP troll. And he
now,
also
whatever that guy is smoking, we should sell that, because that there is some powerful stuff.
What are you trying to say, Ciala? You trying to say COI don't stand a chance?
They stand a better chance of sliding down a rusty road. Let me say, the coalition stand a better chance of sliding down a rusty razor blade, butt naked, into a pool of alcohol and feeling no pain.
Yeah, that's a picture I don't wish to see repeated in my mind.
See, what happens is maybe under new leadership, under the coalition, first of all, the Coalition of Independence is an oxymoron. Maybe, and now you came and say, well, a Coalition of Independence, now your party named the Coalition of Independence. You know, it's an oxymoron. Nothing seems to make sense except in the mind of the delusion. I actually believe that the Coalition of Independence would fit well in Sandilands.
Okay. I want to read another comment. This one coming in from Wolverine, who says, explain why Bahamians can't benefit directly from billions when there is only 270,000 adults. There have been no serious infrastructure and amenities built for over 50 years, so the PLP and FNM should be the only ones benefiting. Make it make sense.
Now, I say, these guys need to make what they make sense. This is what they say. The same broke people who just left these political parties have stole billions of dollars. The oligarchs and people within the Bahamas, remember all of the OECD and everybody that's watching us, these people have been making billions of dollars per year. And hiding it so well, all the financial experts around the world in the banking institution don't know that Mr. Brave Davis reached into the air and grabbed $11 billion that he's going to disperse among some people amongst us. I think the Coalition of Independence minds has separated from reality. It has to be. We go to the line.
Yeah, we have a call on the phone. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Hi, Michelle.
Hi.
Greetings to you and GPS Live in the Bahamas. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your guest, the Allen, who always impressed the universe with the energy that the Creator endowed him with. I'm just looking forward to being around just to hear more and more of his brilliance in this world. I want to say I appreciate him today, more than any other day, because he speaks truth. A lot of things you have said, a lot I would have to hear again, but I don't know if it's anything C. Allen is be saying that I agree with. I said before, because thousands of people following you, that don't mean, and because you speak in truth, does not mean you qualify to lead the people of God. Only godly people can. So you want to say the FNM and the PIP ain't godly? Yes, they are. Yes, they are. We all are. But the Creator choose his leaders. Whether we like it or not, in this Western world, you have a two-party system. And we have more women than men in the Bahamas. And listen, y'all can't have enough children to change what I just said. I'm not saying the Creator is not able. The people is not willing. You hear how long C. Allen will tell you all when he come from university, and before he come from university, only me y'all used to hear, and Popper and Bannister and the other rest. Until our brothers and sisters came from university. I don't have to say another word. Why? Because my job is done from the fact that C. Allen came in the picture. You all have a good day.
Thank you so much, Amos. But Michelle,
let me just, before you respond, let me just say this in response to what Amos said about leadership and God. Sometimes God will allow leadership to come over you as punishment. So it ain't necessarily that he allow that person to ascend to the leadership because they are so wonderful. It could be that because he has an issue with you as a people, he allowed that person to ascend to punish you.
Yep. The permissive will of God.
Okay, then. What you was going to say?
No, I'm simply saying is that the person asks an oxymoron question. You should ask, how do we benefit? As opposed to, are you telling me to mean something? It just simply say you're speaking the narrative of that's been pumped into your head. The question should be, how do we benefit? I told you, through a sovereign wealth fund, we could build a better Bahamas. We can build infrastructure. We can build an education system. We can build a medical system. We can build a world-class protection system around the ring. We can build a better Bahamas. And that's what a sovereign wealth fund is about. It's not about enriching you personally. Nothing in this country belongs to you as an individual. It belongs to us. So don't tell me about your crown land. It's our crown land. If I give you title to it, it's no longer our, it's yours. Okay, so please, you all need to understand how the collective, the community, the commonwealth works. And so just because you've been miseducated, don't mean I have to adopt your idiocracy.
All right, we got to take a break. Last one. When we come back, we're going to wrap it up. Stay with us. This is GPS. We'll be back after these words from our sponsors.
Global Paradigm Shift will return after this.
Blood sugar levels play a key role in your appetite, weight gain, and overall health. When you have a blood sugar spike, you can feel confused, dizzy, and even have increased cravings. Eating carbohydrates, sugary or fatty foods, and not exercising can all cause blood sugar spikes. But now you have help in managing blood sugar levels. Sweeties by Youngevity was designed to help support healthy blood sugar levels so you can power through your day. It's a synergistic blend of minerals, herbs, and nutrients that have been proven to support healthy blood sugar levels. Sweeties includes chromium, an essential trace mineral that's known for its contribution to healthy blood sugar levels and improved metabolism of carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. Cinnamon bark has been included for its naturally occurring antioxidants and support of a healthy heart. And we've even added gymnema. It's been used in Ayurveda for centuries to help promote healthy blood sugar. All the ingredients in Sweeties work together to give the best support available for blood sugar control. Sweeties, the blood sugar support supplement from Youngevity that helps control cravings and manage blood sugar levels through your day. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine
are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Tracklight, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires, cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Blessed love.
As you age, factors like health, weight, diet, and lifestyle can all impact your bones, joints, and general mobility. Even everyday exercise can lead to wear and tear on your body. Over time, you might start to experience stiffness or pain due to damaged joints or connective tissue. Ultimate Glucogel by Youngevity was created to help you limit the effects of wear on your joints. It delivers a daily dose of collagen-rich gelatin your body needs for joint elasticity and maintenance. Ultimate Glucogel contains a 1-to-1 ratio of gelatin and glucosamine sulfate, which is a key building block of your bone matrix, cartilage, ligaments, tendons, and connective tissue. Gelatin's unique blend of amino acids not only help with muscle and joint health, but also has been shown to provide additional benefits for the brain, skin, and hair. Ultimate Glucogel. Natural, optimal daily support for joint health. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
$99.5.
30 seconds, Alan. 30 seconds to close this out.
I just told I need 15 seconds. I am here for engagement from anybody within the FNM, anybody within the PLP, anybody within the coalition, or any independent thinker to engage me and challenge me on what I believe is the direction the future of the Bahamas should go and who I think should lead us. You bring your ideas, I bring ours, and let's iron sharpen iron and let the best ideas win.
All right. Gotta let you go. Thank you so much for being here today and discussing this topic, the wizard. Off to see the wizard. Who behind the curtain pulling these strings, and are they as all-powerful as they would make themselves out to be? Things that make you go, Until tomorrow, thank you so much for tuning in. Tomorrow's Wellness Wednesday. Please tune in for very important information about what you need to do to take better care of your health. Until then, I'm Michelle Malcolm. Thanks so much for tuning in, everybody. And God willing, I'll see you tomorrow, same place, same time. Take care.
Global 99.5 FM reminds our listeners that the views and opinions expressed on this show are those of the host and guests and not necessarily the opinions of the owners of Global Communications Network and the operators of this radio station.
This is 99.5 Global FM, your number one source for R&B in the Bahamas.
Hey, this is Janet.
Global FM.
The best